Thank you. Good evening and welcome. Industry and employers and unions. What is an employer? In his own eyes, he's the fond father of a happy family of employees. In the eyes of his employees, he's the lucky son of the founder of the company. He's a restless bundle of energy, bounding into the office at noon and out for lunch at 15:15. He dies of a coronary after a ripe and fruitful life. His busy diary is closed, and his last words are, "Tell God I can see him now." Not that industry is just employers. We had a letter from a North London man who tried very hard to become a foreman of a large car firm, but now he's doing nothing. He got the job. The average Englishman works 8 hours and sleeps 8 hours. The only trouble is, in most places, they're the same 8. If you're going into industry, you've got to know about time and motion study and mass production. Time and motion study is bringing in a man with a stopwatch to sort out the clock watchers. And mass production is turning out something nobody wants so cheaply that they don't mind throwing it away and getting a new one. Of course, the government is doing its best to make industry pay. They got £4 million from Bristol Siddeley alone. But the real problem with industry is that although for years it's been socially a very unsmart thing, industry, nevertheless it's managed to inherit all the worst aspects of the class system. In industry, indeed, it's almost a caste system.
Look to me to make the decisions. I am an executive.
Look to me to keep the wheels turning. I am a senior clerk.
Don't look at me, mate. I'm only a worker.
I live by clear-headed, dynamic, forward thinking.
I live by honesty and industry.
I live by the railway cuttings in Clapham.
I'm driven to work by a uniformed chauffeur in a limousine.
I'm driven to work by a uniformed bus driver.
I'm driven to work by the wife and kids. They need the money.
My mid-morning cup of coffee is brought to me on a silver tray by my secretary.
My mid-morning cup of tea is brought to me in an easy-grip plastic-mold disposable beaker.
Elsie brings ours round in an urn. And you can't tell whether it's tea or coffee or...
Because my lunch hour lasts 3 hours, it is very valuable. But it is also a working lunch, and therefore it is on expenses.
My lunch hour lasts 1 hour, but it is a very ordinary lunch, therefore it is on luncheon vouchers.
I don't have lunch. I have me dinner.
If I'm too tired to work, I take a sabbatical year.
If I'm too tired to work, I take it out on the wife.
If I'm too tired to work, I'll get the sack.
I don't get the sack, I am redeployed.
I am neither sacked nor redeployed. I'm given a directorship.
3 different levels of industry.
I have the key of the executive cloakroom.
I use the staff toilet facilities.
I hold it till I get home.
But the most worrying thing about both sides of industry is that neither of them is on our side. On the one hand stands the management, on the other hand stand the trades unions. If only they'd stop standing on our hands, we might get somewhere. But disputes always affect production. Even the birth rate has gone down as the mothers' union and the fathers' union are engaged in a who-does-what dispute. Times have changed. We've just heard some news about the charge of the Light Brigade. They've put it up 10%. But, of course, a lot of industry depends on a good secretary. One secretary asked for £22 a week. The boss said, "My dear, I will give you that with pleasure." And the secretary said, "With pleasure, that's £5 extra." But But the simple fact really is that secretaries are indispensable.
Finished, Miss Posner?
Yes, sir.
Go. Mrs. Logan and Sins, Cringes Stroot Ofinborough, Gintleman. Thank you for your litter of the sextoons. We shall be happy to deliver your order. Miss Posner,
Yes, sir.
you're improving.
A lot of Britain's industrialists live in the past. Well, it does have one advantage, it's cheaper. But England is a land still of opportunity. The man who starts out his career by digging holes in the ground can end up behind a desk, providing he's prepared to take a cut in salary. Outside a Coventry factory today, a worker complained that he had been waiting 10 minutes for a bus. A foreign buyer standing next to him said, "That's nothing, my government's been waiting for 4 years." Though that's not the whole story. One of our leading car manufacturers recently announced that the 1 millionth car had just come off the production line, narrowly missing 2 assembly workers. The British car industry is especially prone to stoppages, most of them after you've bought the car. One motor firm has the slogan, "We stand behind every car we manufacture." Mind you, they don't say that they'll push. Though even that's not as disturbing as the sign we found up in Bradford among those dark satanic mills, as Haley is known to her friends. The sign was outside a barber's shop, and it said, "During alterations, customers will be shaved in the rear." Not that... They're doing very poor business. Not that a really tough, thrusting executive in the new, up-to-date mould, whether in Bradford or anywhere else, has time to worry about that.
Fine. Come in. Now listen, I'll take 3,000 amalgamated chemicals, and don't, whatever you do, take up the option on Wilson Engineering. Sit down. Fine. Hello, Simpson. Check the Baghdad contract and phone me back at 4:30 with the precise figures. All right? Sarah, remind me. 6:30 at number 10 Downing Street. Fine. Have a cigar. What's the matter? Can't you take cigars? Now listen, I'm the head of a vast corporation here, but I make it my business to know every single one of my employees personally, Potter.
Johnson, sir.
Now listen, the research department has been doing bloody well on this new gas development plant. You're the head of the research department, right?
No, sir. I make the tea, sir.
Don't be so modest, Pettigrew. I'm not a fool, you know. I'm a tough, hard-headed businessman. I worked my way up from the shop floor. I started at 2 an hour, scraping the muck out of the blast furnaces with my bare hands. I've seen it all, Pritchard. There's not a thing that gets by me. Now listen, I want a new man in the foreign department, and you're the chap I want.
But, sir, I'm only 18, sir.
Don't believe everything they tell you, Pearson. Otherwise, they'll beat you down with their bare hands. You've got to be tough. You've got to know where you're going. How many languages do you speak?
1, sir.
1. I like you, Peters. I like you. You're not afraid to say what you mean, are you? You see that? That's my baby. I created that with my bare hands. They said I couldn't do them, but I hit them with it. I hit them with it where it hurts, and they cracked, Pringle. They cracked like dry twigs. That's what life's all about. Now listen, I'll give you £4,000 a year, your own office in Paris, and all you can spend. Take it or leave it.
But, sir, I'm not the head of the research department. I've never been abroad in my life, sir, and I don't even know what the firm makes, sir. I mean, I just make the tea, you know. What do you want, tea or coffee, sir?
Got any buns?
Buns?
Buns? I've got more buns than you've had hot dinners! Because they're my life, and they sell! They sell because they're good buns. Damn good buns! Now you're talking, lad. I want 3,000 of those buns, do you hear me? 3,000 of the biggest buns you've got, and I want tea. Gallons and gallons of tea. Do you get that, Pritlove?
Yes, sir!
Right. Oh, and Palgrave.
Yes, sir.
You start in Paris on Monday.
Right, sir.
Right.
Though on the other hand, if television commercials are to be believed, then work is just an incidental background to noshing chocolate bars. No mechanic worth his salt would dream of switching off his capstan lathe without sticking a toffer lux in his mouth. Bowler-hatted businessmen scurry about the city, airing their views on little round mints with holes in the middle. Some businessmen can be very thoughtless, though, like one firm in Burnley with its punctuality incentives. If the workers come in 2 minutes late, they dock their pay. If they come in 2 minutes early, they charge them rent. Industry is full of sad tales. One from Julie Felix, BA.
Well, a right young lad was William Brown. He worked for a wage in a Yorkshire town. He turned that wheel from left to right, from 8 in the morning till 6 at night. So keep that wheel a-turning, keep that wheel a-turning, keep that wheel a-turning, and do a little more each day. Well, the boss one day to William came. He said, look here, young, what's your name? I'm far from pleased with what you do. Hurry that wheel or out you go. So William turned and he made a run, 3 times round instead of 1. He turned so fast he was quickly made royal high turner of his trade. Keep that wheel a-turning, keep that wheel a-turning, keep that wheel a-turning, and do a little more each day. Well, the nation thrilled to the wondrous tale. News appeared in the Sketch and the Mail. They even brought excursions down, all for to gaze at William Brown. And keep that wheel a-turning, keep that wheel a-turning, keep that wheel a-turning, and do a little more each day. Well, sad the sequel now to tell. He turned out more than the boss could sell. The market fell and the price went down. 7 more days and they sacked young Brown. But keep that wheel a-turning, keep that wheel a-turning, keep that wheel a-turning, and do a little more each day.
Next week, we'd like your peeves on a postcard, please, about culture, on people who write about culture, and peeves about the theatre, the cinema, pop music, and so on. You had plenty about industry. Mr. W. Simpkins of Hull says, the food at our works canteen was certainly tasty. I've been retired 3 years and I can still taste it. Jeff Street says, my peeve is my works manager. He won't be happy until he has a time clock that punches the workers. And A.T. Wright of Ealing says, an employer is a man with an eye for business, a nose for profit, and 2 fingers for the employees. And which I personally do not understand. Mr. Clark of Newcastle's peeve is a union official whom he actually heard say at a meeting in Newcastle, quote, there have been allegations made against me and I am going to find out who the alligator is. Next week, your peeves on culture and theatre and so on. Of course, some firms are making renewed efforts to keep their employees happy. At a meeting in Coventry this week, a shop steward asked a personnel manager, what time is it? And the personnel manager said, what time would you like it to be? It was double time, of course. But one firm has made more efforts in this way probably than any other. Real efforts.
The firm of Johnson & Son have achieved a unique relationship between management and labor, or as they put it, between executive and productive personnel. Clocking in at Johnson's is a real pleasure. If efficiency is encouraged by on-the-spot bonus payments. And there are skillfully planned incentives. Even in the canteen, the men are made to feel at home. They enjoy a good meal in an informal and relaxed atmosphere. Industrial disputes are bound to arise. But a vigilant management can smooth them out almost as soon as they've begun. Another hard day is over at Johnson & Sons, the site which has achieved a miracle in industrial relations. Everyone is satisfied. The employees are the happiest in the world, and the directors still hold vital responsibility for keeping the building program up to schedule. Who would have thought yesterday that these men would be building tomorrow's Britain today?
Of course, industry has been responsible for many superb new inventions. Thanks to industry, we have such things as smokeless zones. We rip up fields of daffodils to build factories to mass-produce plastic flowers. And they were planning a completely new industry for Harlow New Town, making bird cages with no bottoms for budgerigars you can trust. No, sorry, it was St Albans, but unfortunately it fell through. It's these takeover bids that mystify people, playing monopoly with real companies. A few years ago, Schweppes took over Chivers Jam, but I mean, how do the two firms help each other unless you wanted tonic water with pips in it, or fizzy marmalade? And indeed, we've just heard that ICI are bidding for the Monopolies Commission. And surprise news from the aircraft industry, Vickers are to build Britain's new swing-wing bomber. A qualified engineer will be helping the Vickers. The trouble really with industry is that it's still socially rather infra-dig to be an industrialist. And yet, of course, we're just realizing that we depend on our industrialists, so we try to persuade them to export. In fact, of course, last month's exports were a record. 2 tape recorders and an amplifier. But Britain's export industry booms. Last year we exported over 20 industries. The Duke of Edinburgh has done so much for Britain's export drive that shares in the royal family have rocketed. And now, of course, there is the problem of industrial espionage to contend with. There's the rather suspicious case of the man who's been working for 30 years with the Electricity Board, who has just been given a gold watch by the Gas Council. The dangers of industrial espionage are ever at hand.
Good afternoon. Can I help you?
We are official representatives of Siamese government. Your firm has given us permission to look over our factory.
Oh, I see. You're an official delegation to look over the factory from Siam.
Oh,
Yes, yes. Only we weren't expecting a Siamese delegation. We've got a Burmese delegation coming next week.
Yes, we Burmese.
You're Burmese, not Siamese.
Yes, Burmese.
I see. Only we were expecting 32 of you.
Other 30 detained. Unavoidably detained for 1 month.
I see, yes. I do forgive all these questions, but we've been warned recently about industrial espionage and, You're not Japanese, are you?
Oh, no, not Japanese. No, Japanese very small, only that high. Only that high Japanese. We Burmese.
Ah, fine. Well, in that case, I'll show you round. Now, to make it easier, if you want to understand what I'm saying, I'll say L's instead of R's. All right? All right?
Aye.
So that you can understand me better.
Yes.
Rubbery.
Now, in this loom, over here on the lights, we have the computer. Now, this computer controls all the operations in this loom. Oh, no, I'm afraid you're not really supposed to have camelels.
Oh.
No, camelers. No camelers around, sorry.
We only take souvenir photographs.
Please,
souvenir.
stand up here.
Yes.
Please to stand up. Please. Thank you, very good.
Now, I don't think you're really photographing each other.
Oh, please, me show you. You stand there. Please, stand over there. Thank you. Now, look that way, please. Very good. Now look the other way, please, up there. Very good.
Now you weren't photographing me then, you were photographing this.
Oh, no.
No, please. Special lens.
Special lens, wide angle. Wide angle, see. You stand there, me photograph you, point the camera here. Very good.
No, I don't think so.
Look, I show you. Please to stand over here with my special friend, an English friend with special lens. Small, please. Thank you. And once again, small, even larger. Very good. Thank you.
Yes, but I'm afraid I can't really allow you to take any more photographs. I'm awfully sorry.
No more photographs.
No. We got enough.
Yes, well, I'm afraid that's all that I can show you.
Please to see special timing device.
Promise no photograph.
No, I'm afraid not. The timing device is very secret.
But we have permission from Japanese government.
Burmese government.
Burmese government. To see, we know it looks like pineapple.
Yes, it does. Well, a very quick look then. Very quick one. Well, this is the timing device, and as you can see, it does look very much like a pineapple.
Please to hold.
Well, just for one moment.
To hold.
Please be very careful with it, because it is a very delicate and sensitive piece of machinery. No, this isn't the timing device, you see. No, you've given me a real pineapple.
Oh, dear. So sorry. Me mix it up with friends' lunch.
Lunch. What's lunch? Oh, lunch. Thank you. No, this isn't the timing device either. You see, this isn't even a pineapple. This is a coconut.
Oh, coconut.
Could I have the timing device, please?
Timing device.
Thank you.
Yeah, timing.
Thank you very much. You'll appreciate we have to be terribly careful with what we're doing. No, I'm afraid that's not quite right either, you see. Could we try that again properly?
Properly. Yeah, properly.
Thank you.
Properly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You have. Thank you.
Down. No, this isn't the timing device. I'm afraid this is the coconut again. I'll write coconut on this. Now I've written coconut on this, you see, so we'll know that it's not the timing device. I do think I could, in fact, now have the timing device. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. 1, 2. Well, that's all right then. Thank you. Well,
thank you so much. Please to discuss it with friends for one moment, please.
Certainly.
Thank you.
I do hope you don't think we've been at all rude here, taking these enormous precautions. But we do have to be terribly careful about who we. Hello?
I say, all right. And that's industry, really. Researchers are still at work on the ideal product. They don't know what it is yet, but it will sell for £4.10, cost 2 and 6pence to manufacture, and will be very habit-forming. Meanwhile, we leave you with the group of men at work today on the Concorde project, who heard the unfinished symphony coming over the loudspeakers and turned to each other and said, "Listen, they're playing our tune." Good night.